My name is Eithne Luibhéid, and I'm a professor of gender and women's studies at the University of Arizona. I was brought here to head the university-wide committee for LGBT Studies, which became the Institute for LGBT Studies, one of the few in the nation. And I'm not the director any longer, but I do serve on their board, and I'm also a faculty for the graduate minor in social, cultural, and critical theory. My research really focuses on bringing questions of how sexuality is regulated and how immigration is regulated and thinking about them together. Sexuality may feel very personal, very private, very individual. It is also something that is regulated by families, communities, economies, the media, the law. And queer theory asks us to think about sexuality less as personal identity than as an axis of power through which we're all regulated, normalized, and punished if we don't go along with the dominant norm. So we know that historically the United States tries to channel sexuality in ways that support patriarchal, white supremacist, capitalist, settler colonial relationships. And this is completely how immigration laws are also structured, through sexuality. My book, Entry Denied: Controlling Sexuality at the Border, is the first book-length study of how sexual norms shaped officials' decisions about who to admit and who to not admit, and how these decisions were completely interconnected with racial hierarchies, patriarchy, capitalist considerations, and colonialism. My book, Pregnant on Arrival: Making the Illegal Immigrant, tracked how public anxieties and narratives about pregnant immigrant women gave rise to laws and policies that made more and more people become undocumented. Undocumented people are not types of people. Being undocumented is about your relationship to the law. And as the law changes, people become documented or undocumented, and this is constantly shifting. Logically, what this means is if the United States didn't want undocumented people here, we don't need more borders, border guards, fences, troops at the border, because none of them address the reasons for why migration is happening or how people become undocumented. Instead, what we need to do is change the laws and rules around immigration and stop criminalizing immigrants and immigration. Classes that I regularly teach include a large general education course, Gender in a Transnational World, the undergraduate feminist theories class, an undergraduate and a graduate course on gender, sexuality, and migration. I often teach a graduate course on transnational feminisms. Life well lived is a life that is meaningful to you. And what is meaningful doesn't take any particular form, but it's not defined by external measures like fame or wealth. I do really love to research, to teach, to have conversations. What makes it meaningful, though, is doing it in ways that connect everything I do to what Paulo Freire calls the practice of freedom. There's no fixed definition of the practice of freedom, but it requires understanding the conditions of our lives and thinking about how to work with the people around us to bring change and transformation. And that's not grandiose, fancy work, but everyday, thoughtful, meaningful work with every individual that I encounter.